What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Talkin Sports with Jake. Hope we're all doing well. So we got a bunch of stuff to cover today. Let's start with a little bit of MLB free agency talk. So apparently, the Mets have offered Kyle Tucker a short-term deal worth $50 million per season. We don't know how many years that is, so if it's 2 for 100, 3 for 150, not sure. But apparently, it's a short-term deal for $50 million a year. Look, 50 million, that's a big number. Kyle Tucker's a great player. He also was hurt last year. The back half of the year, he battled a lot of injuries. This is why he struggled in the back half, eventually get shut down. Year prior, his last year in Houston, he pretty much the whole second half of the year he was hurt. So he's a bit of an injury risk. But when healthy, he is an elite. Good for 30 plus homers, 110 plus RBIs. He can run, decent outfielder. The Mets really, I don't see a desperate offer by the Mets. They are very desperate. Their off season's been just horrid. They've been kind of cleaning the house, which I don't really know why they have, and why Pete Alonso wasn't re-signed. At least with Evan Diaz, they were able to bring in Devin Williams and Luke Weaver to kind of shore up the back end of the bullpen with Evan Diaz leaving. But you dumped Jeff McNeil for nothing. So it's going to look very different in Queens. I've already given my thoughts in the past on David Stearns and all that. But they very much need an outfield bat. Need a bat in general with Alonso leaving, and definitely need an outfield bat with them trading Brendan Nimmo to Texas for Marcus Semien. So Tucker would definitely fit the bill. You put him probably in left field, and you're playing Tyrone Taylor in center field every day. Most likely would be the alignment with Corfwall and Soto in right. So there's an offer on the table. So hopefully, for the Mets' sake, he takes it. But that is the offer. In Toronto is still talking to him. The Dodgers are still talking to him. Yankees, I think, have had talks with him. I don't think it's gone very far. I mean, no one's really gotten very far with anybody this free agency cycle. But the Mets have made an offer to Kyle Tucker, short-term deal worth $50 million a season. We have a trade happen. The New York Yankees, speaking of the Yankees, they acquire starting pitcher Ryan Weathers from the Miami Marlins. They get 4 prospects in the deal. Going the other way to the Marlins is outfielder Brendan Jones, outfielder Dylan Lewis, and 2 infielders, Dylan Jasso and Juan Macias. We'll start with Weathers. He's been very injury prone throughout his career. From more top prospect with the Padres, was traded to the Marlins mid-season in 2023. He's been with the Marlins since. Last year, made just 8 starts because of injuries. Had a 3.99 ERA in 38 in the third innings. Year before that, 16 starts, 86 and 2/3, 3.63 ERA. So he's still just 26 years old. When healthy, these last 2 seasons in Miami, he's been a pretty solid pitcher, but he's just never healthy. As for the prospects going the other way, Brendan Jones last year between high A and double A. These 4 going to Miami. Last year, Jones, 124 games, hit 245, 11 homers, 16 RBIs, 754 OPS, 59 on base. Dylan Lewis between single A and high A, 122 games, 237, 22 homers, 79 RBIs, 766 OPS, and 2 infielders. Dylan Jasso in double A last year hit 257, 13 pops, 76 RBIs, 725 OPS. And Juan Macias last year in low A and double A hit 271, 2 homers, 43 RBIs, had 35 steals, and a 729 OPS. So none of the prospects seem that highly touted that the Yankees send to the Marlins. However, I don't think they should have sent 4 prospects for a guy who's made 24 starts in the last 2 years. Granted, he's been pretty solid. 7 career games in 5 years. 55 starts, ERA close to 5. He was very, very bad his first few years of his career. And has been better these last 2 seasons, but he's just never on the field. He's always had a lot of arm problems with him. He goes to the Yankees. The Yankees need a depth starter. That rotation at full strength is one of the best in the league, but Garrett Cole coming off Tommy John at 37 years old, I think. So you won't see him until probably at least the middle of June. Clark Schmidt, if you see him at all, will be a slight surprise. Maybe he comes back in August or September. He had Tommy John in the summertime. So a lot of injuries. Heel is injury prone. So they're going to need, especially in the beginning of the year, they're going to need a couple of arms to fill in and give them some innings. In the first part of the rotation, Rodon's a very good pitcher. Fried is a good regular season pitcher, at least. Schlittler was very good last year, especially in the playoffs. After that, you're looking at Heel in the back end. He's still young, but been inconsistent, been injury prone. Will Warren is probably in the rotation for right now, but we won't see Cole till probably the summertime, and they won't see Schmidt till maybe the very end of the summer, if not the fall. So, especially in the early part of the year, they're going to need arms, and they don't have that much depth, I don't think. They don't have a ton of starting pitching depth outside of, I mean, like the five, they have seven guys that, you know, hypothetically would probably be in any rotation, but a bunch of them are hurt. They're an older rotation too. A lot of guys well into the 30s. So they're going to need arms. So they do need Ryan Weathers for sure. A guy like him, I guess, but I'm not sure we're going up four prospects for him. You give up two outfielders. They do have a hole in the outfield. They're going to need to either re-sign Cody Bellinger or do something else to fill a spot in the outfield. However, with Jason Dominguez, hopefully, I'm sure they want him to have an expanded role this year. I would think Spencer Jones is going to make his debut this year. I don't know why he hasn't already. We got people saying he's going to going to go into the Hall of Fame with the freaking Scranton Yankees in AAA at this point. But he's like 25 at this point. He's been down there forever, and for some reason they won't promote him. They also won't trade him. Doesn't make any sense. But I would think he'll in the early part of the year he'll be up with the team. And so I guess maybe not a whole lot of room for the outfield, but the infielders, I mean, they're married to Anthony Volpe for whatever reason, that shortstop. I would probably want to keep one of those guys. Granted, I mean, none of these guys had an OPS of 800, and none of them have played a game above Double A. So four prospects go to Miami. I think it's a solid return for Miami, a guy that probably didn't fit into their plans. He is young, but can't stay on the field. I know that he's got a good hole for Edward Cabrera. I wonder if Sandy Alcantara is next. I think they can get enough for him. He had a rough year last year. Was a lot better down the stretch, but for a lot of that first half of the year was really bad coming off Tommy John. But if I had to guess, they'll wait a year, try and make him build his value back up. Though he is a little bit older, so we'll see what they do. You never know with the Marlins. And we're gonna have Neil Kumar come on to the podcast. Haven't talked to Neil in a while. What's going on, Neil?
Jake 3152, what's the word, man? Everything good?
Yeah, man. How about yourself?
Show so far.
Thank you.
And, just chime in a little bit. I like the Weathers trade, as a matter of fact. I think it's good for the Yankees. They don't seem to be too active in the free agent market because they spend all their money on traders.
I know. Supposedly they didn't think he would take the deal, so they're like, let's just get a draft pick back. And then he took it. They were like, oh crap, that didn't work. He did, yeah. He didn't have a bad year, just like he was not that good for. Like the year prior, he was terrible, and he was always just like a death player. He had like a career year. They're like, oh, he's probably not gonna do it again. Let's just get a draft pick for him, and then he took the deal, probably because like maybe he just didn't think he would get a long term deal, so we just took the 1 year.
Blue Jays fans, the Yankees kind of go through what they're going through, and then
Yeah.
you see all the Yankees fans who are like completely disgusted, posting the video of them complaining about the Yankees and kind of what's been going on with their offseason. I don't think that they're really that serious now with Tucker. I think they're kind of moving on from it. I think they're going to go with Cody Bellinger, like you were just mentioning.
Probably.
They should probably go there. I like the offer that the Mets gave Tucker, but I'm just curious to know, like I heard this morning, I don't know if I posted it in the group. I thought I did. I might have seen it on MLB TV.
Mm-hmm.
But that the Jays have offered Tucker a long-term deal. I think I saw actually on Sportsnet here in Canada. So I basically, so I saw that they have offered him a long-term deal. No, like numbers at all were
okay.
But the $50 million is a good indication to see from the Mets what he might be getting. So I think that he would want the long-term because he's 29 and this is really his biggest year.
Probably, I would.
It's going to be interesting. I just hope that we get Bo Bichette back if we don't get
him.
That's because, I don't think the Blue Jays can reach back to the World Series. You have to have it. Like Okamoto, it's a nice pickup.
Yeah.
I don't know why everyone hasn't slated at the 7th spot. I think you bring him up Santander, so you would have Vlad and Santander and then go there, maybe go to, say, Kirk there at that point. But anyway, that's another story. But yeah, I like the moves that the Jays have made. I like that the fact that in the AL East there hasn't been a lot of movement from many other teams. The Orioles made their moves. They made early. And so they look okay. I don't think they're as great as everyone thinks that they are.
They need more pitching. They need some more pitching.
Seasons to be able to do something in the rotation. So I like what's going on there. It's going to be an anxious couple of weeks till we get to the spring training season that's going to start up next month, and so I'm just anxiously waiting to see this happen between and who's doing it. I hear that the Jays, obviously we've heard this time and time again that the Jays will be going to this every off season with the big free agents. We saw it with Tawny and Soto, and they're going to get them. But this time it seems more legit because they went to the World Series this year, so they have something in their back pocket, and they've made good moves to kind of back it up already. You know what I mean, with the pitching. So they got Cease and Pond and then Rogers in the bullpen, and now Okamoto's a nice pickup for the bullpen. We still need a lefty though, so Tuck would be nice. But I know the Mets really need him too because
Yeah.
they kind of undergone a facelift, and that would be perfect for them to get him. I think he could really revive the energy there and make Mets fans happy because I know that they aren't happy with some of the moves.
Yeah.
I don't blame them. I think Semyon's not a bad move though. I know he's coming off a bad.
Yeah, he's a good defender at second at least.
Be like if he's around the right bat, because it's not in Toronto. He was an MVP.
Yeah.
When he was in Toronto that year, so he can really be like up there with the bats. Though I don't think he's lost that at all. But I think that was a good move actually. I like that they wanted to get better defensively. They obviously wanted to at first. Alonso was a big price to pay though.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? When he got in his car and was driving to the winter meetings, we knew he was signing with the team, and we heard nothing from the Mets.
Yeah.
He picked the Orioles. He was signing with the team, and we heard nothing from the Mets.
Yeah.
He picked the Orioles. I thought he was picking the Boston Red Sox.
Yeah, they were. Yeah, the two offers he had were Boston and the Orioles, but the Orioles was just a lot larger of an offer, so we took the Orioles offer.
Yeah, we should see him in the Red Sox. Obviously, it's great to see that the Yanks and the Red Sox have been struggling so far in the offseason to be able to.
Red Sox fans are flipping because obviously you saw they lost to Alex Bregman, and so their point has been, which is valid, they traded Devers. All the obviously, I get why the shenanigans, the off the field stuff, him complaining that he had to play a position I've never seen it before in my life. But you traded him, you had him forever, and for like less than a year of Alex Bregman. That's just terrible asset management.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, they've made a couple moves in the trade market. Yeah. Yeah, they trade for Oviedo from the Pirates, and then they got it Wilson Contreras from St. Louis to play first base.
He's kind of so it might start for him in Boston. He obviously was Pittsburgh, the team behind more than helping him, but he obviously has figured things out. So he might figure it out in Boston, I think, and he's a good pitcher. So those are two nice moves, and yeah, Contreras is nice as well. But they seem to be struggling, and I think that Bregman did him dirty. Like he was getting paid $40 per, but obviously he want a long-term deal. And you've seen me in the group, bitching about him because he had a 6-year offer on the table.
Yeah, I mean, look, for
not anyone a slimy deal. He's a nice fit with the Cubs, though. But
it's a good move for them.
If you were after the money, like I guess he thought he could. He wasn't $40 million at the Red Sox game.
No. I mean, look, it worked out for him. He got the money he wanted, but just the way he gypped a couple teams in the process.
See, trust him. I mean, I'm sure he's happy with the Cubs, and he'll be fine there. And we'll see what they do. I think I saw you in the group saying they could be a contender. They could be, definitely.
Yeah.
Right for them. So it's interesting to see. Like we still have a lot more action to take place in the free agent market. And the other thing is, Framber Valdez. Like, is anyone going to sign that?
Yeah, there's still a bunch of really good players out there. We're like a month from pitchers and catchers going down to spring training. So Valdez is still available. Ranger Suarez is a good pitcher who no one's talked about. His market's just dead. At least Valdez, you've heard like, oh, Boston, Baltimore, the Mets, maybe Toronto early on. But like Ranger Suarez is not as good as a pitcher as Valdez, but a good pitcher. He should be in someone's rotation, at least in the middle of it. And we've heard crickets. Yeah.
Toronto, I like the pitching moves you made, but we don't really have in the rotation. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's actually slated to be there, but, we'll see how that goes. I would like a guy like that, but I don't think they're going to make any more pitching moves. I think they're...
not in the rotation, most likely.
do is get a closer, and they seem like
Hmm.
they're going off. Again, I'm not super confident. I did see on MLB TV like the greatest moments of 2025, and one of them was Hoffman closing out Seattle to get to the World Series.
Yeah, he was better at the end of the year. He needed to obviously get the home run to Rojas.
I felt they should have got a closer. I'm not really too confident in Hoffman right now. It's his fault because he was with the Phillies in 24 and he was an all-star. He had 10 saves. So the Jays kind of signed him and made him the closer because
Yeah,
Bono was done. So you respect the move on both sides, and it's not really his fault because he didn't have, I don't think, that closer mentality. You remember in June he was getting lit up a lot?
yeah, he had a rough stretch. He honestly through August, I remember Jays fans were losing their minds over him, and then playoffs came around. He kind of righted the ship, at least until Game 7.
So I had to hold on to the number 9 hitter, and that's it. Like, it's like, oh my God. I was like, I went to Game 6, right?
That's right.
I was like, knew it deep down in my heart that if we don't get it tonight, that it's going to go in.
Yeah, that was one of those on top of, we've seen Toronto have their fair share of heartbreaks. You know that better than anyone, obviously, and just it's really hard to win, to lose Game 6 like that, and then a day later go out and win a baseball game. This is really hard to do.
Seven, which we had 2 chances to do in the.
Yeah.
We had, I think, Jimenez hit a leadoff double in the 7th, I believe, and then
Hmm.
we got to 3rd with no outs, and we weren't able to sacrifice it.
That's right.
So he was on again the next time around, and Clement cashed him in with a double. And that's where I think we got the 4-3. But if we could have got that other run that I just mentioned to get 5-3, I think we would have won World Series. So that's
Yeah.
the thing with Hoffman. You're never confident with him with even a run lead. Like, you feel like he might need even 3 in some cases with them. So, and it's not his fault because he wasn't really a closer. Like, even though he had a great season with the Phillies,
He was an all-star as a setup guy, yeah.
yes. So that's exactly. So like, they were going to go that route, but they seem like they're going to be sold on him being the closer now because everybody's off the market. Like, Fairbanks was the last dude and he went to Miami. So, you know what I mean? And like,
Yeah.
the Dodgers, when, they got Diaz, that's kind of, you know what I mean? Not basically sitting well with the Mets fans, but you know what I mean? Like, they went and had Tanner Scott last year. So now what do they do with him, right? So, like,
Yeah, and they're paying him a lot of money, too. $72 million guy. I don't even think he was on the playoff roster at any point.
so I do believe that there will be a lockout because they do need a salary.
That's why I think no one's getting signed because everyone's freaking out because they're like, if we're not going to play next year, I don't want to pay a guy $1 zillion for him not to play a year.
Yeah, exactly. They'll be hooked banned, right? The player. And so it's like, yeah, absolutely. It's like you can't take that risk. So, it's just going to be interesting how things shape up on that.
Yeah, players are going to want a longer deal to make sure that they're locked up, but teams are like, they're nervous.
Teams that have money, like the Mets and the Jays and the Dodgers and New York Yankees and Red Sox. I mean, obviously the Yankees, Red Sox, like I said, aren't that active in the
Mhm.
The dogs don't seem to be that worried about it. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, it's a team like, like the Cardinals are completely selling off. Like, granted, that probably needed to happen. The Chelsea Chain Bloom's taken over. That's a really old roster. They haven't been that good for a few seasons. But like, a team like that, like Brandon Donovan, I think is going to get traded. He's the guy I could see them looking to keep if there wasn't a lockout. But I think he's got 2 years left of control. But if a lockout, they may only have him for 1 year, so he might end up being a rental. So they're probably going to try and cash in when they can.
yeah. And so I'm going to ask you quickly, do you have a quick moment to talk quickly about basketball?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So, okay. So we know there's some big dogs on the market that could get traded. John
Yeah.
is a headache. We know that.
Oh yeah.
Bonus in Sacramento. I think Sacramento's going to blow it up big time. They only got like what?
They should.
They've been winning lately. That's unbelievable.
Yeah, they're 10-30. Yikes! They're second worst in the West.
Yeah, they've got Westbrook, DeRozan. I think DeRozan gets moved. Levine, I think he gets moved. Sabonis, who doesn't want to be there since they traded Fox.
Yeah.
And Malik Monk is getting moved. So we want Sabonis in Toronto. I know that they offered Hurdle and
If he's healthy, he'll get traded.
yeah, 100%. And he wants out of there. And they should probably consider it. They don't have much in terms of a future. Like, they got draft picks or whatever, but none of those guys that they drafted are really standing up. So I think they really shot themselves in the foot when they traded both Halliburton and Fox, man. I think, so they should have kept Fox, I think, but they're like, Doug Christie's not knowing what he's going to do, and I don't think he knows what he's doing, really.
Yeah.
But again, they got good enough talent, and they're not winning. So those guys from Sacramento can help teams that are ready to win. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Sabonis, I know that the Raptors are concerned about his back spasms, or Pirtle, I should say. Pirtle's back spasms, concerned about that.
Mm-hmm.
And then quickly contract him and trying to move. I guess they feel that they might have overpaid him or something like that. He's not playing up to the potential that they feel he should. I think he's still been great, but he has had some games where he hasn't been as efficient, and he's not playing as much defensively as we've seen him in the past. So I know that they offered Trae Young. I didn't want Trae Young because Trae Young does not play.
Not a winning player.
Yeah, exactly. And he's got great assist numbers. He's been the leader in assists before he's league in assists. He hits threes quite well, but we know he's like an 8 for 32 guy on most nights.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was gonna say, I'm glad we didn't pick him up. I was gonna quickly ask your thoughts on that trade, but now just quickly about Sabonis. The Raptors apparently did offer that quickly and Pirtle and X, and they rejected it.
Oh, okay.
And the Raptors apparently also offered quickly Ochai and a 2026 protected first rounder, and that they didn't want that either. So the Raptors are trying to move quickly and Pirtle, it looks like. And obviously Giannis says he wants to stay in Milwaukee, so I don't think his name's going to be up there anymore. But I just think that what do you think about the Trae Young trade, and then who do you think is going to get moved? And obviously, John Morant looks like he's going to get moved. He's a real headache too, though. I don't know if I want to get him in Toronto. That's another name that they're mentioning. They're offering the same thing, the quickly in the picks. Because you look at the Trae Young trade now, and that probably impacts the John Morant trade because people feel that she can rip off Atlanta for that deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, like McCollum's in his last years, like, you know what I mean? And like, I don't think is that. I don't know. I don't think he's that big a deal. And yes, maybe he will be. I'm not sure, but I would have expected they were going to get draft picks out of that. Yeah.
They should have, but as for Trae, I mean, I get it for Atlanta because I think that they can kind of contend this year because the East is so bad. So you get McCollum, who can still be a solid scorer, and then Kispert can shoot the ball. So you could end up being better the rest of this year, but then next year, I don't know what you're really looking at. Granted, I think it's time to build around Jalen Johnson, which they can do a little bit easier now. But they should have gotten picks out of that. Also, like, they have to make a decision on whether or not they're going to build around him or trade him. So they need to actually see something from Trae. Yeah. Like, Trae, the one thing he's good at is the pick and roll, which he can probably do with Alex Sarr.
This year, he really broke it out.
Yeah.
Really phenomenal, actually. I got him on the fantasy roster, and I like him. We've got over here in Toronto, his brother, I think, is Olivier Saw.
Okay.
And I think he's with the G League. I don't know how he's been doing, but I'm hoping he turns out to be like
Alex Sarr, like his brother.
Exactly. So, but yeah, I like him. He's a good player. I'm excited to see what Trae and him would do. But I think they want to find like that third piece of the draft this year because this draft is supposed to be as great as last year's one. Like you look at this year's draft and all the rookies, they're crazy. Like even looking like most recently, Colin Murray Boyles on what he's doing. So I can see what their thinking is on that. But then, like I said to you, that probably impacts John Morant trade, right? Because the
probably
would be the same. Yeah, because like John Morant never plays either, so. He's a headache. I got him, the fantasy squad. I'm hoping he comes back.
And he also can't shoot.
Another 8 for 32 guy too.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, and he's missing his first straight game tonight too. So
I know.
Now the Memphis Grizzlies going out to Europe. I think they're playing 2 games out there.
Okay.
They're gonna miss. Where's the first game in? I know the second game's in London on Sunday. Where's the first? Is the first one in Munich? I can't remember where it's at. But anyway, I know the second game's in London, so you might play the game in London on Sunday. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. They're going to have a couple games in Europe. I think it's Pistons and Grizzlies. Don't quote me on that. But yeah, there's 2. I think it's Munich and I think it's London. I know it's London, but I'm not sure where the first.
Memphis plays Orlando tomorrow in Berlin.
So that would be interesting to watch because the NBA is trying to get. Well, there's been rumblings of them trying to develop like a European
Yeah,
circuit, and so maybe that's kind of what does this into them. Yeah, no, that's cool. But yeah, man, I think that's great. I'm glad to have gotten on here and
sure.
speak with you and chop it up and talk about the latest things going on. Obviously, I think our focus has been so much on baseball because it's been a pretty big off season, I would say.
Yeah,
We're just waiting to see what else happens. There's still some big cats on the
yeah,
market. I hope the Jays do walk away with both Bo and Tucker. I think the way that can happen is if Tucker does want a short term deal. Don't think that he would, being 29. I think you want to go for your biggest deal that you can get. But if he was going to do a short-term deal, I think that he'll go to the Mets. But if the Jays weren't able to get a short-term deal out of him, maybe they could get Bo still back. Because I think Bo really wants to be here still, even if he plays second. I think that's what the Jays have been trying to do. They've been trying to build up like the Dodgers do. Like we were just talking about Tanner Scott. They got Tanner Scott, and he's making 47 million, whatever it is, and he's now probably the setup man. We think, like you know what I mean. So we've done that with some of the signings. Like I don't know where Cody Ponce fits in. I think that they're starting him, but like there's just like all this depth that they have. You know what I mean? So we'll see how that goes. But I think that's. What are your thoughts? You think that the Jays have a good shot at getting back to the World Series next year? Like with one of or both?
absolutely. If they can add one, that lineup looks really electric. They should have a really good deep rotation. Bullpen should be solid, and I think they have a shot. They're probably the best team in the East right now.
Yeah, I agree with you. And that's great to hear that too from your perspective.
Mhm.
You're a Mets fan, but not a Yankees fan. You hate the Yankees, right?
I cannot stand the Yankees now.
Okay, good. 'Cause
Oh yeah, it makes me feel slightly better about the Mets. Oh my God, they're flipping out. Yeah, because they keep thinking, oh, this guy's falling into our lap, and then they don't. They're like, what the hell? So yeah, they're every time someone signs, I'm like, we could have done that contract.
right? And so it's like the Dodgers stole that from them because remember the Yankees used to be that
Yeah,
dominant team that just won everything.
they're the new Yankees now.
Yeah, it's to see because I didn't ever think it was ever going to happen to the Yankees. I really didn't. I thought they would always have that luxury. I think they still do, but it's not there right now.
Yeah, and I just want to shout Foursquare Sports. He's been in the chat uh, with us. He's been saying I'm pretty sure it's Matt who is one he usually controls the Twitter page. He said Scott Boras is a pain to baseball. Yes, he is. He's a large pain in the ass. He said the Red Sox can't hold on to our top stars. Nope, they trade them all away. And he said two of our panelists are Yankees fans. Yes, Matt, I cannot stand Yankees fans. I want to kick them all in the face, but you guys, I don't mind. Y'all are not the pain in the ass Yankees fans.
Yeah, is the Bozos guy?
No, the two of them are it. There's four of them. Two of them are Yankees fans, but they're the not so bad Yankees fans. I'll say
Gee, I didn't reasonable to understand.
they're reasonable Yankees fans. They don't drive me up a wall.
That's good. That's good. Also, big shout out to Oflo who was in the space. I think he probably saw me in here.
I saw him very briefly. He was listening.
Yeah, he was like, that was a rap space, but he chilled out for a little bit. So shout out
Yeah.
for being in here too. But yeah, man. So okay, I'll talk to you again soon. Thanks for having me. I'm sure you're probably gonna wrap it up, but it's good to talk to you. Happy New Year too. I mean, we did
Yeah.
but everything anyway. But this is the first line.
Yeah, I'm 26.
Yeah, and so it was a good one too because there's like it's a good time to we didn't even talk about football. Yeah, I guess
Oh, yeah.
I'd ask you too. Like it's big matchups, the Bills and the Patriots, right?
It's Bills and the Broncos. Patriots are going to be playing the Texans this week.
So it's not the big Broncos and the Bills. My bad. So yeah, obviously. And what do you got in that one, sir?
Oof. I'm leaning Bills, but that's going to be a real good game. If the Bills don't win, though, I don't know what they're going to do next because at that point the window's closed.
So what do you like then in the whole entire when it's all said and done?
I mean, Seattle should be the favorite. I think they have the best team.
Right.
They should be the favorite, but I don't know. They got the 49ers this week. They're not going to have Kittle, but if they win that game, they should be able to go to the Super Bowl.
Kittle's got all next year too. I might drop him man, because I know
Who?
what I'm gonna do. But he's got a broken ACL, right?
Oh, Kill, yeah, it's his Achilles, yeah.
Achilles. Oh, he tore his Achilles, so he's probably gone all next year too.
Very likely, especially at his age.
Drop him in.
Yeah,
Next
that's
year.
that's tough. And Fourth Sports said Bills to win, they blow it up. No, no excuses. They're gonna have to do something. Whether McDermott gets fired, they're gonna have to do something.
So, yeah, and the Patriots chances. I'm sorry, I was having a conversation with my friend Elena this week.
Oh,
You could get to that props.
with I mean the Texans, that defense is fantastic, but their offense isn't good. Their offensive line isn't very good. Stroud's just I'm at the point where I just think he's a great talent. I think he's just stupid with at times. If the Texans can put together a solid offense, I think they have a shot because that defense is so good. But New England, as much as I hate to say it, they are a good team. So they should be favored, but I think Houston has some upset potential there.
Yeah, so you like the Bills over the Broncos then?
Yeah.
It's gonna be a close one
Oh yeah.
though. It's not. I don't see it being like the Bills. I don't know, man. I think they should be this offseason still invest in a passing game, get back to that a little bit, get a good receiver. So, and then yeah, you don't. So in the end, you like Seattle Seahawks to win the Super Bowl.
That would be my pick. Yes.
Nice. Okay, well we'll see how it goes down then, man. It's gonna be interesting. Okay, great. And you like the Texans defense as well, eh?
Yeah.
So you think that they can take the Patriots in?
You know what? That'll be my upset pick of the round. I will pick the Houston Texans. That was Neil. Comes in once in a while. He's great. We always have great conversations. Moving along, let's talk some of the NFL head coach stuff. Of course, so I recorded this show yesterday right before it actually happened, but Mike Tomlin has stepped down as head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm sure you saw my reel that came out on TikTok last night. Obviously, he had already stepped down, but I recorded the podcast like maybe I finished recording maybe 2 hours before he actually stepped down. So not great timing there, but he steps down after 19 years in Pittsburgh. He was 190, 113 and 2 in 19 seasons. Won a Super Bowl in 2008, but we all know the tidbit with him. 8 and 12 in the playoffs. It's not a great playoff record. He's the only other coach besides Marty Schottenheimer to have 9 straight playoff losses. Pittsburgh has lost those last 7 playoff games. They've gotten their brains beaten in most of those playoff games. Haven't out of the first round in years. They have not won a playoff game in 10 years. He did not win a playoff game in 15 of his 19 seasons. Just not good enough for the organization with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Probably should have happened a few years ago, and finally they part ways. He's a good coach. All time, he's very overrated. But in terms of current head coaches, he is one of the better ones out there still. He's not going to coach this year, but he would probably get one of these jobs easily. But he looks like he's going to take the year off. Pittsburgh still has control of him. So it'll probably be like Sean Payton, if I have to guess. He'll take the year off. He'll recharge. Maybe he'll go do some television. And then maybe next year someone will trade for him and make them their head coach. But Tomlin steps down in Pittsburgh. Finally, Pittsburgh can get a breath of fresh air. Foursquare Sports just mentioned tied with Marvin Lewis for the most consecutive playoff losses. Yeah, it's been rinse repeat in Pittsburgh for a while. You sneak into the playoffs at 9-8, 10-7, and just get clothesline from hell in the freaking first round of the postseason. Every single year. And yeah, he's become Marvin Lewis. He's not so much so different from honestly Mike McCarthy at this point. But he steps down in Pittsburgh, where they go with their head coach search. Chargers fought a couple of coaching changes. They fire offensive coordinator Greg Roman and offensive line coach Mike Devlin. I think this needs to happen. Greg Roman, he's to me not a good offensive coordinator. He's too predictable. Usually for like a year, it works because he's able to establish the run very well in his offense. But eventually, comes too predictable. You can't be too one dimensional, especially when you don't really have much of a pass offense. You're pounding the rock. I mean, Chargers obviously have a pass offense with Justin Herbert, but when your scheme is just run, you can't be. It's a passing the doesn't work anymore. And Mike Devin, look, Chargers had two All-Pro tackles that had serious leg injuries. The O-line shouldn't have been that bad. I mean, Herbert was getting RKO'd back there like every single time. That shouldn't have happened. It just wasn't good enough. He gets fired. We'll see who fills that opening. Well, the Eagles have fired Kevin Patullo, their offensive coordinator. He got directed him up by fans all year. I think there's a lot more underlying issues in Philadelphia. When Sherman hurts, his dynamic with AJ Brown, I think the head coach Nick Sirianni needs to be looked at a little bit more. But Patullo was very, very terrible and should never have been the OC in the first place. He was very bad, and he is gone after 1 year on the job. So the Eagles' fifth offensive coordinator in 5 years. He gets let go. As for John Harbaugh, of course, he is the top head coach on the market with Tomlin taking the year off. He is going to meet with the New York Giants. In fact, I think he's already in-person meeting I think already happened today. He's also going to meet with the Tennessee Titans and the Atlanta Falcons. So we'll see where he ends up going. And that's all the NBA coaching stuff. I know we were talking some basketball with Neil, but let's just take a look at the standings. Eastern Conference, Pistons in first place, 28-10. They've had a great year. Knicks in second, 25-14. Thankfully, they just got Josh Hart back. That's why they were struggling for a bit, for the most part. Boston Celtics, 24-15. They've played well, despite not having a ton of expectations. And Jason Tatum still being injured. Jaylen Brown's having a career year. He might be a first-team All-NBA caliber guy this year. Toronto Raptors are in fourth place. They're playing good basketball, 24-17. Philadelphia's been better this year, 22-16, fifth. Magic 22-18 are in sixth. The play right now is Cleveland 22-19. They've been a slight letdown. Something needs to change in Cleveland. Miami's the eighth spot at 21-19. I thought this team possibly could have missed the play-in. Or they'll probably be in the play-in again for like the fifth year in a row or something like that. But they're 21-19. You've Atlanta in 20-22, hanging in there at the ninth spot. Of course, we talked about how they traded Trae Young recently to Washington, and the Bulls at 18-21 are the last team in the play-in. Bucks are a game and a half out. I don't know how you have Giannis Antetokounmpo, and you're not even a playing team. That shows you how bad the Bucks are. He will be traded at some point. Hornets are a second team out. They just flat out suck. Now the middle of balls on the trade market. The Nets are 11-26, are maybe the most unwatchable team in basketball. Not sure what they're trying to do over there. I wonder if they trade Michael Porter Jr. or somebody else. The Boston Wizards are 10-28. They have Trae Young now, and they might not be playing him, which shouldn't be allowed. I don't know what's going on. And the Indiana Pacers are the worst team in the Eastern Conference, and the second worst in all basketball at 9-31. I knew they'd be bad with Halliburton not playing this year or Miles Turner leaving. It's not going to be this bad. They have been horrendous. In the Western Conference, the Thunder are 34-7. Best team in basketball. They've come back down to earth a little bit. Still the best team in the league. Spurs have been playing some great basketball. 27-13. It was OKC last night, but you've had a great year this year. Of course, you were without Wembanyama for a while, but you still pushed through and played good basketball. Denver's the 3 seed, also with 27-13. They're getting Jokic back very soon. Minnesota Timberwolves are 27-14. They are the 4th seed in the Western Conference. 5 seeds, the Lakers 24-14. They got off to a blazing hot start. Then LeBron came back, and they all stole their chemistry. Wonder why. Houston Rockets are the 6th seed at 23-14. They are going to go. I think another point guard. I think they definitely miss Fred VanVleet. The play-in is the Phoenix Suns 24-16. They've been better with after trading Kevin Durant away after last season. Golden State Warriors are the 8th seed at 22-19. That roster is just old. They've had some injuries. Ninth is Portland at 19-22. It's a kudos to them for being kind of competent after their coach got just arrested in the middle of the night. And the last play-in team is Memphis, which are 17-22. We'll see if they trade John Morant. I heard Jaren Jackson Jr. is also on the trade block. Foursquare Sports just said Spurs final also but Thunder. Wouldn't be shocked if that's your Western Conference final. I wouldn't be shocked either. Not at all. Those are, I think, definitely the two best teams in the Western Conference. The only teams that could really challenge them is Denver if they're healthy, maybe. But even so, I think they won't be able to stop either team defensively. And the first 4 teams out, the Clippers have played a lot better since that brutal start, but still 16-23, a game out of the play-in. Dallas is 15-25. You know the situation there. Utah is 3 games out of the play-in at 14-25. Just a really young team. It's kind of lost. And the Kings are 10-30. They are absolutely dreadful. They need to completely tear that roster apart. And then the Sacramento New Orleans Pelicans are the worst team in all of basketball at 9-33. They are absolutely atrocious, and they don't have the first round pick next year. Coach has already been fired. They are an absolute train wreck. By the way, speaking of the Dallas Mavericks, Anthony Davis is hurt again. He's got a hand injury. Not going to need surgery, doesn't look like. That was the initial report. But he's going to be out at least another 6 weeks. What a shame that guy is. He could have been one of the greats, but the guy just cannot stay on the court. Let's finish this thing off. Let's recap NXT from last night. So Ava Rain came out. By my Millennial can't stand her. Like I cannot stand her for some reason. I don't know how you're the Rock's daughter. You have zero charisma. But anyway, she talked about the vacant NXT championship. Then Ricky Saints interrupted her. He said, "Oh, I should have the title." And he said, "You have an opportunity to." Says there's going to be a ladder match on February 3rd for the vacant NXT title that Will Femi relinquished last week. And there'll be 6 qualifying matches, and I guess Ricky's gonna be in one of them. So Ricky was hoping to shoot his hand to him, did not happen, obviously. Then we had Lola Vice defeat Kalami Jordan in the match. That was a solid match. Then we had the men's speed champion Jasper Troy defeat Tavion Heights to retain the title. Love Jasper Troy. That guy is so good. Then we had Jada Parker attacked Blake Monroe as she was cutting a promo as explaining why she attacked Dia Hale post to fighting her for the NXT North American Championship. Then Jada Parker returned and attacked her. And the TNA International Champion Channing Stack Surrender defeated Shiloh Hill with help from his little girlfriend Ariana Grace. Then we had Tatum Paxley lost her mind on Izzy Dane, of course, the North American Champion. I'm assuming that feud will finally end with a third match between the two of them. We had Joe Hendry against Dion Lennox in a disqualification match in the main event. Of course, Hendry had OTM helping him out, and Joe Hendry picked up the win in that match. But well, he got some help. Tony D'Angelo, of course, has just been stalking everybody right now, including Obafemi and his title before he left it. He came in and he chokeslammed Dion Lennox, then chokeslammed Joe Hendry, and then threw Joe Hendry on top of Dion Lennox and handed him the win. And by the way, Foursquare Sports just said amen to that. Ava is a sales pretzel. Like she's just so boring. Like on Raw, like Adam Pearce is just he's so good at his job. He's super energetic. He has great segments every week. Nick Aldis has great segments every week. And then you have Ava Rain. Like, oh yeah, yeah. So we have a vacant title. You're all gonna have a chance. Like, can you show some emotion? Can you pretend like The Rock's your dad for like 2 seconds? You can pretend like you grew up in the business for 5 minutes, maybe. But anyway, that's the next day. That's all I got for you guys today. Thank you to Neil for popping in. Thank you to Foursquare Sports for his comments in the chat. Till next time, so long. Have a great day.